Welcome back. Thanks again for joining us as we discuss matters affecting our youngest in our community. Young people in South Africa faced by a number of challenges. Over and above that, those who are supposed to care for them are the ones more often than not who strike a hand against them in terms of physical abuse, sexual abuse. We're seeing more and more as well. You just have to look at the New Age newspaper this morning and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here. Their headline this morning, according to Stats SA, 8.9% of South Africa's children suffer from violence or abuse. Cry the beloved nation. We discuss this matter in more detail now as we go to the last stretch of our discussion. It's about 8:30 now, last few minutes left of this particular discussion. Yusuf, just before the break, I know that there was something that you wanted to say.
I just want to comment on what Simi said about drugs and what Bafana said about the drug problem. The drug problem is not only limited to a certain section of our community. Every community, take it from me, is affected by drugs. When a drug addict wants to rape his mother in Cape Town, we must say we have a major problem. When a drug addict rapes his grandmother, we must say we have a major problem. When we go to communities like Lenasia and other parts of South Africa and El Dorado Park, where children as young as 8 years are hooked on drugs, we have a problem. There's my friend Darylene James. Darylene will call me in the early hours of the morning to say, my son, who is a drug addict, is gone missing. I know the pain and the trauma people like Darylene and other parents go through. And forget children being addicted to drugs. We have adults who are addicted to drugs. Ladies and gentlemen, I say it again, we have to fight this drug scourge. We have to join our forces. Let's not target the guy who's sending a piece of a Zol around the corner. He isn't per se our target. Our target should be the drug traffickers, the drug dealers, and the drug couriers. When we launched the Drug Watch campaign, we saw major success. Look at the gang warfare in the Western Cape. It is drug-related. So drugs are a major part of this crime scourge that we're experiencing. But let me also say it, Ayanda, greed contributes to crime. When a guy comes and robs you, he comes in a Porsche, BMW, or a Merc. He's not there to go and feed his empty stomach. He's there because he wants to live a life of luxury. When we look at some of these drug syndicate leaders, they are living in upmarket complexes. They are not doing crime to feed their poverty. They are doing it because they are greedy. And that is where our target needs to be. The police. And as much as the police are doing great work in arresting these people, we have to make sure that we continue and up our game. When I say us, it's not only the police, it's the community. It's the community police forums. It's business against crime. It's everyone in every sector of society. That is why when I mentioned the corporate world, Simi, I mean companies that are contributing to business against crime. They're doing a great job. People that are supporting Crime Line or Crime Stoppers are doing a great job. On Friday, I had a meeting with Fly Mango. They've committed now to contribute to the fight against crime. I can give you company after company. The trackers of the world, they are doing a great job, but we have to work together. And as much as we're putting our efforts into education and other social ills, we have to put the money into the fight against crime. Now, somebody said to me this morning, I won't give 1 cent to the police. Nor will I. Because the police have a budget and they need to spend their money wisely, not in parties and bashes. That is why we say to the corporate world, if you want to get involved in the fight against crime, come to respected NGOs like Business Against Crime, like CEFAC, like CEBRIC, like Crime Line. We will make sure that every cent is well spent. But again, let me put it on record. We have great policemen doing a great job. For the rotten ones, I agree, Brigadier, a lot of them have been arrested. Don't only fire them, send them and give them their orange overalls. I'd like to see how many of these cops you fired have the orange overalls that you are talking about.
That would be very interesting.
I think a lot of them need the orange overalls.
To look into. A little bit of marketing there as well from Yusuf, but we'll let that one slide. I think what you said is very important about a collective effort. It's my privilege and my honor to welcome His Royal Highness with us in our midst today, King Tibi Mule. Molefe from Batlokwa. A very good morning to you, Baba, and we welcome you. Bayete Baba Siyabonga. I think it's very important to see our leaders coming out in their numbers. We were privileged as Morning Live not too long ago to profile a young lady who managed to get traditional leaders to come together and sign a pact that they were not going to perpetrate any acts of violence against children. I thought that was extremely refreshing, because we tend to have a Western colonialist sort of view of things, whereas we need to bring it back down home to the grassroots levels. And sometimes, more often than we'd like to admit, some children's rights are violated in the process of culture. There are some sterling traditional leaders out there. There's some sterling work done by traditional healers as well. So not all of them are doing this, but there have been times when some have said, we can cure this child of whatever ailment if they sleep with whichever sangoma, which is a travesty. So to see them as well coming to the fore, and to seeing kings as well coming to the fore saying, we're doing something about this as well. This is a matter of urgency for us as well. I think it's refreshing. That collective approach is something that we need. So I think that's something that's encouraging to see people coming to the fore. A number of questions have been raised about community policing forums, their structure, their priority, the place that they've been placed when it comes to remuneration perhaps, and their value. Police watch is something else that has been raised. Yusuf, you wanted to mention something about this a little bit earlier, and Brigadier, I'm going to give you a chance to respond, and then let's take more questions from the floor.
Well, I think it's critical that community police forums and the police work closer together. It's good that we say that the National Development Plan, which is a great document, has it on paper. We have to implement this particular plan. Community police forums, in my view, are critical, not only to hold the police accountable, but to work with communities and to work with the police to make sure that we fight crime. We know that there is sector policing. We must make sure that every sector has an effective forum and platform to fight these crimes, because visibility is critical, Ayanda. You know, when you have the blue light along the freeway, as much as some of those cops sleep in those flying squad cars, Brigadier Billings, we have to make sure that visibility is important. The van patrolling with the blue light on does give communities a sense of security. Visible policing is critical to the fight against crime. And as much as the police say that we have to promote community policing, the police have to take the lead. Andy Mashaile, I'm sure he's got a few comments, my friend, the chairperson of the Gauteng Community Policing Board. We engage regularly. We're going to Reiger Park, I think, on Saturday, Marissa Oosthuizen from Crime Line, we're going to Reiger Park. We have to go to communities, we have to engage them, we have to work with them, and we must make sure that as communities we mobilize, be it in the form of a neighborhood watch, be it in the form of the structures for the community police forum boards, and the majority of them are effective. The weak ones we have to work on those, Andy, but I think overall, community police forums are critical to this fight against crime.
Yusuf, I must say, your enthusiasm, your aggression towards this
No, I'm not aggressive, I'm just being friendly.
I find it extremely refreshing. I must say that. I find it extremely refreshing. You're raising pertinent issues and doing so with a lot of vigor, which is, I think, something that we need in order to tackle this effectively. No more complacency and sitting back and saying, what can we do? Ronnie J. Abrahams on table number 17 is also echoing that call, wanting to know how things can be done more effectively and more efficiently when it comes to gender abuse. Table number 17, right here in front. Can we get a mic to Mr. Abrahams, please?
Hi, yes, good morning all. My concerns is how will the justice system and the SABC, in terms of the crimes, how will they be able to assist the communities in making sure that that it actually gets prosecuted? That is my question. I heard that everybody is saying that the SABC is doing everything. I heard Mr. Yusuf saying that the problem is at the courts. But how can we as community members and community leaders get to a stage where we can get that assurance that our women and our children will be protected? That is a key question here.
You want me to answer?
Please.
Muxin Williams, can we get the Minister of Justice at the next New Age breakfast? And let's get the Minister of Justice, let's get whoever the National Director of Public Prosecutions is or will be.
As well, social development. As we sit here, I'm thinking to myself, goodness me, there are quite a few gaps that are so blaring at the moment. We need
Ayanda,
a number of our
I'm happy to engage the Minister of Justice. I had a chat with the Deputy Minister of Justice a while ago, and Andy Mashahile went to meet with him around this particular problem. We have to bring them on board. We have to bring them on board. I think that's critical. Let's not only start the talking, let's get the action going. And I know my friend Advocate Simi van Graan works very closely with the criminal justice sector. And I'm sure we can take up this lead, Simi.
Yes. Thank you, Yusuf. If I could just add, it also comes down to the community again, and this is my appeal to you. We come from a community or society that's so complacent, that's so afraid to get involved. If there's crime in your community and you have information, go to the police and give them that information, because that is going to secure the conviction that you're looking for. If we don't speak up as a community, remember that that police officer is collecting the evidence that he has access to.
It's easier said than done, some might say. For fear of reprisal, a lot of people won't go to their local police station because they're known by the police officers there and the community. Brigadier?
What I want to say here is that we need to check the first line of responsibility. It takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
Once you see somebody having more interest in your child, you should get worried. Do we know our children, whom are they talking to? We buy them fancy phones, the ones with internet and cameras and everything, but every night the child we think is sleeping, the child is busy mixing it underneath the blankets. There's another issue that we need to take care of. The issue of crime prevention. When you look at crime prevention, you look at safety. It does not only involve law enforcement agencies. It involves our own homes. The first police station that should talk safety is a home. Within that home, these days, you can't trust a father. You can't trust a grandpa. Those are issues. Ourselves as police officers, we become reactive. We get called after the crime has been committed. But we need to go back to our society. We live in a very sick society. What kind of a person rapes his own child of 3 months old baby? What kind of a son of 22 years rapes his own grandmother of 92? The issue of decay in our moral generation, we need to look at those issues of ethics, issues of respect within our community. I'm quite excited here to know that the king is amongst ourselves, because this is a kind of crime that not one part will win alone. We need to partner together. We need to work together, have a multidisciplinary approach to these issues. But we need to talk more, not only when the crime has been committed. We need to take care. When you pass the child begging on the street, he's 10 years now. After 18 years, he won't be a child anymore. He might not want to beg anymore. He might feel shy to beg anymore. He's going to take your car next time on the road. What do we do? Do we stop there and take care of the child and give bread and make means to move him from the street? No, we are not. Some of these children are street children today, but tomorrow they are hijackers, they are murderers, they are still rapists.
We need to, I think we need to take a look at the psyche of our society as well, because we know that rape is not a sexual act, it's a power trip. It's when someone feels emasculated at times, that's what they do. The issues of perhaps mental instability need to be looked at as well. When we have pedophiles in our midst, what do we do to rehabilitate them? I don't know about you, I grew up in Soweto, so for us, we categorize everybody with a mental instability. That's just how it is. We don't go in there and diagnose. Is it schizophrenia? Is it bipolar? What kind of disease is this person suffering? What kind of help can they get so that these people don't feel frustrated and act out in a sexually violent manner, as we've seen in 1 or 2 cases? So I think as a community, just to take a litmus test as to where we are and why we show our frustrations in that particular way is also something that's quite crucial.
What is also critical here, the very same rapist, the same murderers, hijackers, are not coming from the mountains. They are coming from the community. When you raise a child, what are you raising? Are you raising a jackroller? Are you raising what we call a hijacker? So how we socialize and raise our own children is very important.
Yes.
You can't separate the duties in the house about the boy and the girl. So the boy must learn to respect. But are we role models? As far as, are we good role models?
I want to bring in Yusuf and ask you if you can maybe change your hat or your jacket that's got your logo for Crime Line and bring in Leader Say. Well, your target there is to speak to social responsibility of the individual first when it comes to that. The Brigadier saying that how are we raising our sons? What should we do today to make sure that we're not raising rapists of tomorrow?
Ayanda, I want to agree with the Brigadier. We agree most of the time, sometimes we fight. But he raises a very valid point. When you have a body of a young child found in Lenasia a week ago, up to today the child has still not been identified. I have to ask, where is the mother, where's the father, where's the guardian? We have to take responsibility for our children. When a 14-year-old youngster stands at the Marlborough off-ramp, all right, and all the youngster does the whole day is take the window, washes the windows of the cars, we have to ask, why is the child not in school? Where are we as parents? We have to take responsibility. On Friday, I had one of the most horrific cases, which Marissa will tell you was brought to our attention. A father allegedly tried to kill his 4-year-old daughter. I looked at the photographs of the little victim. I wish I could show it to you. I've got it on my phone, but we will protect her identity. It is horrific. And to add to this particular case, the mother was allegedly part of the plot to get rid of the little girl. We have a problem. That is why, in the spirit of Lead South Africa, we are saying to parents, you have to be accountable. We must take responsibility for our children. Our teachers have to take responsibility. You know, the teachers can teach his children whatever they want to at school. But if we as civil society, Ayanda, don't take the lead, we are in serious trouble. We are throwing away the future of our children and our grandchildren. We are throwing away the future of our great-grandchildren. Because as much as we have great future leaders in the making, we have to protect our children. It's not only 16 days of activism against women and children. We should turn every day into a day of activism. It's great to have this World International Day against drug trafficking. It's great to have Women's Day. Every day should become a day of activism. That is why in the spirit of Lead South Africa, we are saying that active citizenry is core to what we are doing. You can become an active citizen, you can do. Lead South Africa is now saying, roll up your sleeves and do. It's good that we talk. How do we turn every day into a Mandela Day?
I want
we
to
have
speak
to change
to
the
someone who I think lives up to those values very well. Her name has been mentioned throughout the course of the morning. Darylene James, she's at table number 6. There's a person whose struggles have been followed on live radio, on television, as she also battles with a son who's got a drug problem. But she's not sitting back and saying, no, let me just keep quiet about this. She's actively doing something about it on behalf of other women as well. So while we get a mic to table number 6, just saying that we need to deal with the root of the problem. We're dealing with the fruit, but we need to get to the core of the issues to nip it in the bud. Darylene, I'm just going to ask you to just say a little something to us this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for inviting me this morning. We as communities and as mums, we are saying enough is enough. Genoeg is genoeg. And I want to just emphasize on this. We as communities, we are taking a stand. We're not asking government for handouts, but what we are asking for, we're asking for their support and to give us a hand up. We are working tirelessly in our communities. What we are also saying is our constitution clearly states, let the people govern. So when we as community members and key stakeholders in our communities suggest ideas that would yield the desired results in our communities, and we are saying we don't want these cops here anymore. Take them away because we understand community dynamics. Then why aren't we being listened to? Why are we being told about policies? Because we live there. We see and we understand what is happening in our communities. Why are we not being listened to, and why are we being told policies and paperwork prevents us from sort of us doing what you are asking us? We are also saying, in terms of the Premier said, I must just mention this also a few weeks ago at the Takerin Modis funeral, his speech, he said, coloured communities has been marginalised. In the past regime, we weren't white enough, and now we're not white enough. You know, if you drive through our communities, there's been no development. So that is not an area. Like you said, those small things, what are being done about the little things that can be fixed overnight? The felts, the dirt, creating an environment conducive for recovery. Nothing is being done for that. We have reactive. I'm sorry to say this, we have a reactive government. Whenever something goes wrong, then everyone floods into our communities. Why can we not be proactive? Why must someone first die for you to come and cut the grass in our communities for little things? We are saying we have had enough. We are working together as communities. Come and support our ideas. Come and work with the people that are working each and every day, that has been activists in our communities for years on end. Thank you very much.
Brigadier, processes and procedures standing in the way of productivity?
Well, we are, as a department, we need to be guided by our legislation. Our legislation gives us our policies so that we can be able to monitor the implementation. Where it's not happening, we need to know where it's not happening so that we can see what can be done. If we have wrong people in that place, then they can be removed and place the right people who will have attitude that will also work hand in hand with the community.
Because many times we hear of cases of drug dealers actually paying off police officers and officers being in the pockets of the drug lords in the community, and whenever cases are reported, nothing happens.
Did you say policeman? A report yesterday said a cabinet minister. Maybe we need some investigation into that cabinet minister.
That much is true. Okay, let's go to table number 15. James has also got a suggestion. Darlene mentioned that if we come forward with those suggestions of how to make our communities safer and better, they need to be heeded to. I think table number 15 it is. You write a bit like a doctor, so I can't see if it's Zain.
Thank you very much.
Nah.
I think we need to be proactive when we talk about correctional services. For example, a brigadier, you know, we used to have some SAPs as youth desk, and we don't know what has happened to those youth desks. And remember that those youth desks, that's where we were promoting that is good to go to a police station. You see, we're even planning to say when you need a job, we must create some job centers within police station so that young people, they know that we're playing sport, you remember? Mm-hmm. We had some teams from there, but all of them, they've vanished. But one of the things also we need to look at it is to say within our media, you see, most of the movies which are being watched by young people is where the gangsters, they win. We went to SABC and we proposed that we must have, you know, your story program, where we're saying that young people, they should watch positive movies which are promoting positive and change and active citizenship in our country. That's one of the things I think also we need to look at. But the last one is that also within the families, next month we have got a correctional week with the Department of Correctional Services. But last year in the correctional week, there was no other security clusters departments. You find that it's only correctional services, and they are promoting what they are doing to the offenders. But these departments, they're not working together. And then how can we combat crime if the criminal justice is not talking to the SAPS and is not talking to the correctional services? So we need to sometimes sit together, all the three departments, and we say, this is a program, this is what we're going to promote in the correctional weeks together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Brigadier, is there a lack of integration and synergy within the system?
There is work in progress in terms of JCPS cluster. We sit a lot at national level and looking at different programs, but we need to fine-tune it also to cascade it down into provincial level and also to grassroots level to make sure that it works. What we are saying about the youth desk, it's important what I've just mentioned here, because there is a desk established right now at our national office. I will go back and investigate how far has it gone in terms of cascading it. There's the very same activities into a station level.
Advocate, I'm going to bring you in. You nodded when I asked about there being a disconnect within all the various facets in the criminal justice system.
Yes, correct. I think there is a lot going on, but from an operational perspective, the departments need to talk to each other. Mm-hmm. And that is the role that we play. We basically act as a golden thread across the various law enforcement departments to make sure that there's synergy and alignment with what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we have our various partners, for instance, like Crime Line, like SABC, that come in to address various aspects of it. But as the business community, we're trying to support government in achieving that. But I think just on the other point that was raised about exposing children to movies and what have you, it comes back down to parental leadership. We cannot put children in a cocoon because they will be exposed to things. But as parents, we need to be the primary leaders in our children's lives to teach them right from wrong, allow them to take the decisions, but warn them of consequences. So we've got to be very proactive and conscious about our leadership values in our home, because that's where it all starts.
That's true. Active parenting is crucial. Just this morning, I woke up to news of a little girl who shot her brother accidentally. The question raised, why was that gun not stowed away
Exactly.
safely? Let's bring in Genevieve.